Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Wendel and this is the Workers' Rights Platform. We are broadcasting live on the Workers' Rights Network. Now, today we have a story to discuss. And that story would have stemmed right back to 2018, where it is a young lady, Miss Dhelia Gabriel, would have been fired for making racist remarks in the health facility. And you know, we here would have thought that that act was unfair. And the mere factor that we are bringing up this afternoon is based on recent stories that would have taken place over the past 3 days with Joel Teelucksingh. And we are here today to start this story like this. So we will go into the articles that exists already within the public domain. And when it's 7 o'clock, we will invite our guests here. A matter of fact, 8 o'clock, where we will discuss this thing even further. So what I am doing now is to refresh your memory on things that would have occurred throughout the tenure. So our first video that we are going to drop here this afternoon, among other things, is this. Many of the people outside here would have called me and, you know, again, I is my own man, I do what needs to be done.
Speech on Renison Jeffrey, Stand and Fight. Brothers and sisters, Lone Wolf speech on Renison Jeffrey, Stand and Fight. Brothers and sisters, today I stand before you not as a leader of the pack, but as a lone wolf, one who refuses to bow, refuses to submit, and refuses to accept the chains of silence. Renison Jeffrey was not just a man. He was a symbol of struggle, a warrior for justice, a voice that refused to be drowned out by the roaring tides of corruption and oppression. He stood tall against those who sought to break the backs of the working class. He spoke the truth when it was dangerous to do so. And for that, they tried to silence him. But let me tell you this, a man like Renison Jeffrey does not die. His spirit lives on in every worker who refuses to be exploited, in every citizen who demands accountability, in every heart that beats for justice. They want us to live on our knees, scared, obedient, weak. They want us to accept their lies, their greed, their betrayal. But I say no. I choose my own way. And I call on you to do the same. Rise up with me. Let your voices be heard. Let your fists shake the very foundations of injustice. They cannot silence all of us. They cannot break all of us. Because we are stronger than their threats, stronger than their corruption, stronger than their lies. Renison Jeffrey's fight is not over, it has just begun. And I will walk this path with or without you, but I promise you this, those who stand with me will never walk alone. So make your choice. Stand up and fight. Because history does not remember the cowards, it remembers the warriors.
So the first video here with Dhelia Gabriel is this one. Track number 2.
Excuse me. I rebuke, not my neighbor. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. 1 minute of your time. Let me tell you something. Not my neighbor. Let me tell you something. You want to know why I'm going to reject you? You want to know why I'm going to reject you? Because you're blasted mouth. That's why I didn't name Jesus. Jesus don't want to hear.
Now, that clip there would have been one of the most controversial things with Dhelia Gabriel. So bear with us. This is the first clip. Now we will go in and explain the video within its entirety. But this was the controversial clip that would have caused Dhelia Gabriel to lose her job. So we're going back into it.
She's not fed up on you with all her brown powder. I say you need to go to a class, school. That is what you need to do. Take out some of them brown powder on the face. It's disrespectful little woman. You're witch. You call it and come boogies. That is what go back in the back and what you need Jesus, but Jesus and Jesus. You're witch. Look at you. Mom, stop reject you, doctor. You need to go in the back. You need to go.
What I know,
I want to tell you. You don't know. You need to go in the toilet.
Because I refuse to appreciate.
Listen to what I have to tell you. Listen to what I have to tell you. You need to go in the toilet and doctor some shit because your education is shit. That's why mouth to reject. Wait. Don't disrespect my neighbor. That woman old enough to be your mother and the grandchild and the baby in your stomach. You disrespecting my neighbor? You old witch. Look at you. I said that brown powder you have on your face. Wipe out some of that.
Now, that was the controversial video that would have caused Miss Dhelia Gabriel to lose her job. Now we have a second clip here. Now we must taking this thing here in a sequence here this afternoon, because I would like to get you all to understand where we are coming from and where we are going with this whole story, a matter of fact. So, matter of fact, let me play this clip here. Let us go into the story behind this whole story.
Gabriel's story is one of controversy, public scrutiny, and perceived injustice. In 2018, the medical intern found herself at the center of a storm after racist remarks she made on social media led to her termination by the Ministry of Health. Her dismissal, effective July 6, 2018, followed an investigation into her behavior, which was deemed unacceptable for a public servant. Gabriel's case sparked outrage and debate, with many questioning the fairness of her punishment, especially when compared to the treatment of other professionals accused of similar behavior. In stark contrast, Dr. Avinash Sawh, who faced multiple complaints of racist behavior, including allegations from Gabriel herself, continued to practice without immediate disciplinary action. Despite widespread calls for accountability, Sawh's career appeared unaffected, raising questions about double standards within the medical profession. Similarly, Teelucksingh, another public figure implicated in controversial statements, faced minimal consequences, further fueling perceptions of unequal treatment. Gabriel's case highlights the emotional toll of public shaming and professional downfall. While her remarks were indefensible, her dismissal has been viewed by some as disproportionately harsh, particularly in light of the leniency shown to others. Her plea for reinstatement, coupled with her call for Sawh to face similar consequences, underscores the pain of being singled out in a system that seems to protect some while punishing others. The emotional weight of Gabriel's story lies in the human cost of public judgment and the struggle for redemption. Her case serves as a reminder of the complexities of justice and the need for consistency in holding individuals accountable, regardless of their position or influence.
Now, the story with this young intern is one of sadness, is one of struggle, and is a particular unfairness where everybody would have received a mere slap on their wrist concerning the things that is existing. This young lady have lost a job, would have lost her earnings by a controversial statement that was made on social media. Now, I am not saying that this young lady is correct for what she would have said in the public domain as of all outbursts that would have been made by others through same medium. Dr. Gabriel is or was a medical professional from Trinidad and Tobago whose career faced significant challenge due to a controversial incident in 2018. She was terminated from her internship at the Port of Spain General Hospital after a video of her making racist comment went viral. So I don't agree with the individual as with the rest of the names that we would have called. But in this instant, why it is that one person would have to pay with their career and the others just a slap on their wrist. If we believe in equity, if we believe in fairness for all, then everybody who hear this, because I would have seen during the research in which we would have committed ourselves to, I would have seen a person that reached to the brink of losing it. Just through a search engine, the very same person in which I would have been talking about, Miss Dhelia Gabriel. Miss Dhelia Gabriel. You can see videos. But why it is others from the same medical profession who get just a slap on the wrist? So when you're talking about people like Avinash, who would have clearly stated certain things within a video call, and it was taped and it was placed on social media. And today we are going into the ramifications of that. If you do one person one thing, then so be it. This thing should be across the board. But to the young lady, even if you decide not to make her a doctor for whatever reason, we should be assisting this woman. So there is another video, that we must cover here tonight. And as I say, I'll be taking this thing in steps so you could understand. The only person that would have stand up and would have been championing the cause of this young lady was, or is, a matter of fact, a patriot. Someone, you could see him all over the place, Wendel. And just to refresh your memory as to what we are talking about, this here was in Woodford Square, in which she would have attended Wendel Harvey Eversley show there, in which he go there publicly and speak about things that take place with citizens. And this here is the video. And we are going to play this controversial video with Avinash, and you could tell the difference. So we would have played the video from before that would have taken place with the inside the hospital as to why this individual, a matter of fact, would have been thrown out. This is the video here.
Excuse me, I rebuke, not my neighbor. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. 1 minute of your time. Let me tell you something. Not my neighbor. Let me tell you something. You want to know why I'm to reject you? You want to know why I'm to reject you? Because you're blasted mouth. That's why in the name of Jesus. Jesus don't want to hear you. Jesus fed up on you with all that brown powder. Jesus said you need to go to a class, school. That is what you need to do. Take out some of them brown powder on your face. It's disrespectful little woman. You're witch. You can come work easy. That is what you need Jesus, but Jesus and Jesus. You witch. Look at you. Mom, stop reject you, doctor. You need to go in the back. You need to go.
Once I know my name,
Now that was the young doctor. And as I say, there are issues that has been pushed underneath the carpet. And there are many of us outside there who champion these issues and them. Some of us just like to talk up in we. Some of us just like to talk. And there are people outside here where one form of punishment does be issued to one set or a certain set of people. I ain't calling race in this yet. What I am calling is class of people. When certain people is perceived to have a higher class, and this exists throughout race, there are people within the African community that does not identify with a certain class of Africans. And there are certain people within the Indo community that does not identify with a certain class of Indians. That is what I firstly want you to understand, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So don't use this broadcast to feel this thing is about race. This here is about showing how certain measures is dealt with certain persons based on class. I ain't talking race here in this program here. And I will never be mentioning race unless in a particular way, but not tonight. So to the many of you that think that this is about the race, take your head out of the gutter. Because tonight we are going deep into this. So we see that Dhelia Gabriel would have had a serious situation, and yes, the video exists within the public domain and we would have heard it. Now the person that would have been standing up for, we're going to have him here tonight. So before we reach on to that, let us play that video. The honest man that would have stand up on the behalf of that individual was this person. As I say, we ain't dealing with no race here tonight. We're dealing with the facts and we will break it down as is, the suit. So Wendel obviously is this is the guy in the red, white, and black there. He had this serious suit. Dhelia Gabriel is the person that would have been standing next to him there. And we are going to play this video. Yes, this is our video. Let's play this video here. Clip 2.
Rights, equality of experiences, and I look forward to this book, delivering these letters to the relevant authorities to reconsider how they dealt with me, because I also issued a public apology. Apparently it was ignored, or I don't know, for some reason, even though it was in the local newspapers, just as bad as it was as my erroneous Facebook post was across the board. The apology also was out in the open. I will take this opportunity again to apologize once again. I am very sorry for what I said. It was wrong in every way, and it will not happen again. I intend to serve humanity as people are, regardless of race, regardless of ethnicity, and going forward, this is the profession that I hold, the standard I hold is one of nobility towards mankind, towards our fellow men, and I really look forward to some type of redress. And that is all I have to say today.
Now, I hear that statement. And the statement the person would have apologized. And this person would have still lost their job. This person is now in the market selling and working taxi to make ends meet. And here it is. We ask ourselves on a daily basis. Here it is. I reached a particular point that what is going on within our system. Now, a particular individual here, same Wendel Eversley would have been talking about this situation. And the most up-to-date version is this.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I'm speaking to those who love Trinidad and Tobago and put country before party. Trinidad and Tobago, I have witnessed for the past couple of years where I have seen doctors in the medical profession. And I want to speak about Dr. Sawh, who said all sorts of things about African people. I want to speak about Dr. Jagannath, a young doctor, Adel Jagannath, who was charged for drug possession and was given a fine of 14,000. I want to speak about Dr. Teelucksingh, who recently was sent on administrative leave by a regional health authority. I want to say to you all today, what I have seen by leaders of our country. What I have seen by the Minister of Health, Terence Teelucksingh, come out in defense of Dr. Joel Teelucksingh, who gave instruction to immediately reinstate him. Dr. Terrell, the Minister of Health, Terence Teelucksingh, said, I don't agree with some of his writing, but he's a good doctor. But did he say that to Dr. Dhelia Gabriel, a young African doctor? Trinidad and Tobago, you all remember the words Dr. Dhelia Gabriel said? And where is she today? Is she still selling shotgun or pimento peppers into the Puna market? Is she given a pardon by the same Minister of Health to say we reinstate her? Are we seeing today in this country called Trinidad and Tobago, because of the color of your skin, you have been getting certain treatment? So what should Dr. Dhelia Gabriel do? Go and change her name to Jagannat, to Ram Singh, to Diyal Singh, to Ali, to Muhammad, and then she will be given a reinstatement. Trinidad and Tobago, we must not be fooled. Is it that we are seeing an election year and we don't want to disturb a certain religion? I will say no more.
To all the listeners tonight, and also those who listening at their homes and abroad throughout Trinidad and Tobago and the wider world. Yes. Well, it has been years I've been fighting and championing this cause. And it showed clearly to me that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And what I observe and notice in my beloved country of Trinidad and Tobago, that I love, I'm a patriot for my country, that I suffer under the hands of terrorists, being my first day in Parliament, seeing what took place in the nation's highest court, the Parliament, used as a human shield, was not even a member of Parliament or a senator or a Parliament worker. I went as a civilian in the public gallery to observe how parliamentarians operate in the highest court of Trinidad and Tobago. But that is for another day. Since then, I have championed many causes and fight for what is right. And I always say, I will talk the talk and walk the talk. I will stand up for what is right, and I will also stand up and condemn what is wrong. And I have done it, and I'm continue doing it. And what I'm seeing today, I must ask the question, is it the color of your skin that certain people, certain race are favored than another race?
Disconnected.
Hello?
Yes, I right here.
Certain ways.
I hear the question that you asked, man. It's a serious question. So it's the same thing that we was talking about here. You know.
And what I want to say to Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm sure you heard this already. You hear it from small, growing up. And people who elder than us have been saying it. You gotta wake up and smell the coffee. And I have seen in this country where particular race are favored more than I will say my race, African race. I know what hurt me to know that our own African brothers and sisters who is be on social media, on the print and the electronic media, don't stand up for our very own. They always make excuses. And a political leader said, a former prime minister and current opposition leader, said to help with country, party first. They have to ask the same question if when she used that statement, if it also goes to the governing party, which is the PLM, the help with country, party first. Because when I could see people of my race will not stand up for their very own and make excuse, then I realize people in this country are about party rather than stand up for what is right. And you ask the question, walk you through about Dr. Dhelia Gabriel. When I first heard about this young African doctor, I'm saying it again, this young African doctor. I interview her on many forums, even on television.
Mr. Eversley, we lost you there, boy. We lost you, dear Mr. Eversley. So try and get back onto the program. Right. We see you back now, so let's see what would have taken place there. as we wait to connect. So we are, to the many of you that are now joining us, that was Mr. Wendel Eversley who would have been talking about this story, the patriot that stands his grounds on certain things. Now, I'm not seeing
Found guilty.
Mr. Wendel, we would have, hello? Come on, join us back so we could have back this discussion here this afternoon. Gotta get this thing right here today. Mr. Eversley.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, we are hearing you, but I seen your videos sticking a little bit there, man. I ain't understand that.
Probably
But I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Hear me? Hello?
I feel I might have to call him on phone.
Hello?
Mr. Eversley.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing you at all, so I don't know what's going on there, but I hear you perfectly. Perfectly, a matter of fact.
Hear me now.
This is a serious story. So better
Yeah, hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, but something's still wrong. I'm not seeing you. We're not seeing you at all.
I don't know what's going on that they're not seeing me.
Yeah, so I hearing you. You're coming in and out, so like me to call you normal on phone. Tell me.
All right.
Nah, I ain't hearing you.
Hello?
Yes.
Something wrong with the connect.
Mr. Eversley. That is the thing with these with social media these days. It's very unpredictable. You how things just go, a matter of fact. So let me see if I could get him on normal phone tonight. That is the thing with these things, yes. So let me see if I can get him on normal phone. So hold on audience. Let me call him. Yes, Mr. Wendel. Hello. Yes, yeah. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. You hear me?
Right. So you're live on the program, but I'm not seeing you getting through the link, so I call you direct. As to continue with the story that you was talking about. Something going on technical behind the scene there that probably we can't fix at this point in time. So he was giving you a story, Mr. Wendell. Problems with phone call too. Hello. This thing here messing up tonight. But I'm gonna try one more time and see if we could get him back up on the screen. Mr. Wendell.
Right?
Yeah, here and here.
Okay, I was saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Adele Jagannath, a young doctor, just as young as Dr. Dhelia Gabriel,
Mm-hmm.
he was charged by the TTPS for drug trafficking. He was also found guilty by the magistrate, and they fined him $14,000, a slap on the wrist, and he's there with his license intact. I highlight also what Dr. Sawh said about African people, how we curse us in the most nastiest and degrading way. He also was given a week suspension and back on the job. And concerning Dr. Dhelia Gabriel, who used a word describing another race. For instance, we just say the N word, and we know it as, say that it's nigger.
Mm-hmm.
And the word what it is used, the C word, and all them different things. We say cruel, we say also coolie, and all them different things.
Right.
And she was suspended. Her license was taken away from her. You see, is a racist, and she had to deal with people from different race. So also too was Dr. Sawh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what is the most hurtful thing? I wrote the Equal Opportunity Commission.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote the former President Paula May Weeks. I wrote the former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. I wrote the former Attorney General Paris Alwan. I wrote the current Minister of Health. I wrote the Medical Board concerning Dr. Sawh. I wrote them also concerning Dhelia Gabriel. The only person replied to my letter was the former president and the Equal Opportunity Commission, who seek an audience with me concerning Dr. Dhelia Gabriel. And the Equal Opportunity Commission direct me where I should take my concern, because they say they cannot do nothing about it because it's out of their hands. Paula May Weeks direct me where I should go and lodge my concern. And she also said my concern is a very important one. I never heard from the Minister of Health. I fasted in front of the Minister of Health office for 7 days. Saw Dr. Teelucksingh passing in front of me, going by a place called Mano's to have lunch every lunchtime, where he just go to
Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when he know I'm protesting in front of his office, he pass through the back gate and make all the wrongs on Duke Street and then come up on Abercrombie Street to go for his lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Just not to be in contact with me while I was fasting and protesting from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. in front of his office, Ministry of Health, at the corner of Park and Duke Street, where his office was.
Mm-hmm.
Trinidad and Tobago, I want you all to know this. Today, the Minister of Health was quick to reinstate Dr. Joel Teelucksingh because Dr. Joel Teelucksingh wrote on his usual columns concerning the Empire Hospital or the new hospital, something towards that. The Minister of Health said, although you don't agree with his writing, he's a good doctor. He's a good doctor. And to reinstate him immediately. But I have this young African doctor in Shatain in the market.
So what I said was
taxi. And let me tell you something, she don't own the vehicle. She walk the taxi for someone who owned the taxi and have to carry a certain amount of money for him every day. On top of that, she sell plants. On top of that, she give free education to SCA students. And you know, they brand about that saying she mad, she crazy, she this, she that. But how come somebody who mad, crazy, and they saying all sort of thing about her, could drive a taxi,
Mm-hmm.
a PH, what we call in Trinidad, layman parlance, pulling bull. You almost know if you're from San Fernando and you go on Coffee Street and you go on High Street and you go by Lapi Plaza, you see a lot of PH car and they pull in bull. And they go in short drop. They go in Gulf City, they go in now, PH car, it have it all over Trinidad and Tobago. Until they say it's time to regularize PH taxis, PH drivers. That's what this young doctor doing right now. Selling pimento pepper and shatain in Tunapura market. I highlight it. I show it on my page. But just as how Dr. Terence Singh could forgive Dr. Joel Teelucksingh, they say that Dr. Joel Teelucksingh is the son. I don't know how true. I just saying what I'm hearing and people bringing information to me that he's the son of Reverend Daniel Teelucksingh, who was an independent senator who hold a big position in the Presbyterian Church.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. As they say, an election coming up, they don't want to ruffle the feathers of a certain religion.
Mm-hmm.
The Presbyterian. I do not know. I just asking the question. But how come Dr. Terence Singh could so far rush to reinstate Dr. Joel Teelucksingh for what he said, that he said he don't always agree with his writing, his whatever column he put on the Express, the Newsday, or the Guardian. But he's a good doctor, but they didn't see it fit to whatever problem this young African doctor have to work with her.
Mm-hmm.
To say, let us see what is a problem. Let us see how we could fix it. Let us see how we could remedy the situation and put her back in the system. Trinidad and Tobago, let me tell you something. This is an election period. I already put pen to paper and I'm going to drop a letter to the current Prime Minister, Stuart Young, the current opposition leader, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, and all the parties that have a political leader that contesting this election coming, and ask them to join in my fight to see that this young African doctor be reinstated or see how they could work with her and put her back in the system. What are the message leaders in this country sending? What are the message Terence Yalsing is sending today? Is the color of your skin? And I am calling out all my African activists who are always on social media, who also all those radio talk show hosts who are Africans, all those who quick to jump and write and talk this and talk that. How come they ain't standing up for this young African doctor? We had the judgment concerning Alva Archie. Look at the senior lawyers, senior counsels, former Attorney General, Israel Khan, Ramesh Maharaj. My party political leader, Prakash Amada, also too, who said he's the leader of the COP, join, and lawyers from the South calling on Alva Archie to be investigated, calling on Chot Young to trigger off Section 137 of the Constitution to see how they could remove and investigate Alva Archie. And all of those lawyers are East Indian lawyers. And with the African lawyers, senior counsel, lawyers who are not senior counsel, to join to fight for Dr. Dhelia Gabriel. Where are all the African activists? You see them on radio calling and fighting for this, fighting for that, talking for this. But how come the voice silent? And you know, it are those who just come to make excuse. I put my post, a lot of them come with excuse saying this and that. Listen to me. Do you remember when Playway was illegal?
Yes. And
You remember
it's still an illegal thing that playing to right about now, eh? But go ahead.
Now Playway is not legal.
Yes, it's legal now.
Playway is not legal.
Yes, it's legal. It's legal.
Right. So if they want to say something have gone already and passed already, why they cannot look into it and say, hey, it is wrong? You know, this girl's mother and father is not no multi-millionaire. They saved their money to make sure that the daughter said that her dream is to become a doctor. A bright girl from primary school to secondary school, topping in her class, went to St. George University in Grenada, and top also wrote thesis in London, where she was there also. And to see that this girl, her whole career, her whole dream, her goal have been taken away from her. Why? Because she was probably brighter than certain doctors from certain race, and they couldn't match her. And they probably feel she too bright, she know this, and exposing them. And some of the people who in charge of her, who seniors, who consultants, realizing that she's telling them what they're doing is wrong. And they say, hey, we have to see how to get rid of her. And make sure she don't come back in the system and lie. If they say she has a problem, why they don't put her to do research in the Ministry of Health? Why did they put her to be a consultant working in the background? But I'm not going to let this rest. I am not going to let this rest. I'm also going to the constituency that she belongs to, and all those who putting up their name to be the candidate for that constituency. I'm delivering a letter to them also too, he or she, and asking them what is their take and what is their position concerning her. It's time we stand up for what is right in this country. It's time we put what is right, right, and what is wrong, wrong, and what is wrong, and we know is right, it have to change to what is right. And if they have and on top of it, the Minister of Health say, reinstating why the investigation is going on. Reinstating why the investigation is going on.
So that is specifically with the matter with Joel Teelucksingh.
Yes, he said reinstate Dr. Teelucksingh while the investigation is going on. Is it that Dr. Terence Yalsing realized that have a lot of prostitution in his constituency, and he don't want to create havoc and people in turn out to vote for him? I don't know. I asked any question.
That is a very interesting question, because we know we are in election season, and the PNM not looking good at all. And I mean, this to me, according to you, in my interpretation, it don't bound to be the truth, but in my interpretation, it looking like they don't want no upset why is election taking place. Because where in the hell that you ever see the doing an investigation on somebody and they reinstate him? I don't know. This is the first time I would have ever seen something like that. I know that they send them on leave. Look, they did the same thing with Earl Christopher. You understand? They didn't find she guilty, but she on leave. And in this instance here, what you talking about with Joel? I mean, I ain't here to put no judgment on whether who right or wrong in the matter. You understand what I'm saying? But concerning this situation with Dhelia Gabriel, there were doctors that do far worse. The license wasn't affected. Their jobs are, look at talk about one of them that was charged for drug trafficking, and he just had to pay a fine. So you tell me, this thing looking unfair. I mean, from in all respect, I would have listened to the story from Joel Teelucksingh, the Emperor, and thing. I mean, it's a nice story, a matter of fact. I ain't seen nothing in that could have implicated the gentleman, but at least with this individual here, I honestly feel that she deserves a second chance. Honestly.
And I'm gonna tell you something. The Dr. Jagannath, Jagannath, the drugs that he was charged for, I don't take drugs, mushroom, and the next one called ketamine. Dangerous drugs for human being to take. And they fine him 14,000. And he still have his license. Why the medical board didn't revoke his license? Why the medical board didn't revoke Dr. Saw's license, where Dr. Sawh said the most nasty, degrading thing about Africans? He call us monkey. He says his patient don't want no Africans, nurses to attend to them. Dr. Sawh said that. Dr. Sawh, he said also too that his patient of all Africans got to do is carry gun, and the uneducated. He said the police in the African police in the TTPS are dunce.
I'm laughing because I know it's true. You see, there are a lot of people that is misguided.
And the Minister of Health also appoint people on the medical board of Trinidad and Tobago. And then when we see this latest development, what you expect me to say? Remain quiet? I always say, I am not a PNM, I am not a UNC. And I will always stand up for what is right. And I say PNM is the problem, UNC is not the solution. But I will always stand up for what is right in this country. It have many times I talk, when I see good things in the PNM, I condemn when they call Keith Rowley OEO. I condemn when they call Camille the slave master name. I keep press conference, I keep marches. I condemn when they went after the Chief Justice to trigger off Section 137. The thing where the state had to pay the former Chief Magistrate millions of dollars. And they put Archie under pressure. Because when Archie appointed, they said, oh, you could appoint the same people who condemn, who calling for him to go now and to be investigated. They are the same people. So what you're trying to say in this country today, and we Africans not seeing it, they're not standing up for their very own. They're not standing up for their very own. And they want to put party before country. They want to put party also to before their very own. So what are we seeing today? What are we seeing today? Is it that we must continue being victimized? Continue being people to describe us in all different form and fashion? But when election time, they look at us as just a voters' bank to vote for them and say we have them vote already. We could do them anything. Is this what we reach to? That we are just a voter bank? We have to open our eyes and call a spade and stand up for what is right. And I will always stand up for what is right. If I have to pay a price for it, I will stand up for what is right.
You know, at the end of the day,
Stop being used.
At the end of the day, Mr. Wendel, you know, a lot of people just condemn you for the stance that you make, regardless to whatever political correct. From the time you take an adverse view concerning the two major parties, people just tend to start to distance you and alienate you. But you know, when the dust clear and the smoke clear and somebody, one of the parties end up in government and the next one end up in opposition, they run into you. They run into people like me. They run into Candace. They run into the other activists. And they are not putting pressures on the parties that we elect and giving them a fat salary. So what you are doing here, a matter of fact, a lot of people outside, they don't have the testicular fortitude to do so. Simple as that. Simple as that.
But you should read the comments by our own African. I just want to ask myself, but there could never be people for country. I don't care what they say. There could never be people also to for their very own African race. But one thing I know, there's a man greater than all of them. All of them. And he's the one who is responsible for this whole universe that we are living in. Because when I take an aircraft and I travel, and I watch through the window and I see the clouds, I know PLM in put it there, UNC in put it there. I know Kamla put it there, I know Short Young in put it there. I know none of them activists who talking about in put it there. The more we don't know how that clouds form and how it reach. All they could suggest is how it reach and what science tell them. But that's something greater than science that put that there. And the rain that fall and where the earth, they meant put it there. The sun that shine on mornings and in the day, the hot sun that we just run and see the place making hot. They been put it there. So they could jump high, they could jump low. When God say enough is enough, enough shall be done. And see this matter, and what we are seeing today in this country called Trinidad and Tobago, is if we don't open our eyes and see what is taking place, don't wonder why they say we are dunce, we uneducated, we hungry, they just put posts that we eating grass, right? And then we wouldn't stand up for the very blasted own. Sorry for using the word blasted on your program, eh? But I've seen it today in this country. In this country, they will stand up with other people to curse their very own Africans. To curse their very own Africans. And they will not stand up and say, hey, this is a form of it. Why you didn't let the investigation go? Because it's an election? It's an election? And is that Dr. Joel Teelucksingh, I do not know, belongs to the Presbyterian Church? And we all know that the majority of the people that belongs to the Presbyterian, 99% of them is East Indian. So I can't ruffle their feathers right now. I have to make sure that we get those votes. But who will say we have to look into Dr. Dhelia Gabriel's situation and work with her and see how we could help her and see how we could move her forward? Who is going to do it? Other ways coming out. Remove the Chief Justice. Remove the Chief Justice. When themselves all who put pressure, when you appoint the same person as a judge, and they come out and say, no, X, Y, and Z, put pressure. But when it comes to our very own, they stand up to do the same and put pressure as all the other ways doing it. They ain't doing it. This is where we reach today in this country called Trinidad and Tobago. Who coming up and stand up? But they want to say all sorts of things. She mad, she this, she that, and this and the other. Did she have a criminal charge? You remember the doctor that cut the child? Where that doctor today, the East Indian doctor? Where yesterday? Remember the other East Indian doctor? The young East Indian doctor, the female, where they were saying rape, and when they hear the shout is a lie? Where they yesterday? Where they yesterday?
Look, you talk about something that I forget because I never hear nobody talk about that. It's like if it disappear, I still can't remember the details of that. I don't tell you.
And they're in the job. And they send them in different hospitals to work. Do you understand, man? If all you do, let me tell you something, eh? Victimization and racialism in this country is real. It's real. And if we don't put our heads together and realize what is taking place, I am not going to stop. I am going to talk what is right. Who don't like it, I don't care. When I put up my post, that is my page. You could come and say what you want. You ain't stopping me from saying what is right.
So,
yeah,
go ahead.
And I'm a person, I am on the ground. And from next week, I'm hitting Woodford Square, and I'm going to talk out about it. As a matter of fact, I get in contact with Dhelia Gabriel, and I asked her to join with me next week Tuesday in Woodford Square.
Next week Tuesday.
And I'm going to highlight the situation more and more and more and more. I'm telling you this. I'm going to deliver a letter to Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Stuart Young. I'm going to deliver a letter to all the political leaders who are contesting this election. NTA, who put out, I very nothing to hope. Philip, he's not my like right. but I'm going to deliver a letter to him also. I'm going to deliver a letter to Makila Pandey also, right? I'm going to deliver a letter also to Prakash Ramada and the constituency that Dhelia Gabriel belongs to. I will find out, and the candidates there, I'm going to deliver a letter to all the candidates, and asking them what is their stand. And when I'm delivering the letter, I am doing that live one time, handing them the letter, asking them what is their stand, and if they're going to deal with it, and if they're going to join in the fight to make sure that they do something concerning with this young. Let me ask you something. You think the other ways would have this young girl on the street today? Or there people?
No, I don't think
somebody from East Indian or the Syrian or the white or the Chinese. You think that I have on the street there?
No, I mean you don't himself see the Syrians on the street. So let you don't put the Syrians in that. The Chinese don't himself be on the street neither. So it's only Africans and Indians that's be on the streets.
Right. You think there will be who they have as it belongs to their ways on social media, chastising her?
No, that is a simple thing. No.
Or chastising people who they will say, hey, let me help her. Let me see what we could do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of people ain't seen it from that point of view, you know. They call it a blasted activist, social media activists. And they say, let me do this, let me talk this, let me talk that. Instead of blasted hypocrites.
I mean, you would have called Prakash Ramadan name. I know you have plenty things to say about him too as well. But that is a conversation I want to have with you, you know, Wendel, you know. But time and place. I know how to see it on your page, and I see the kind of comments, and basically, in one word, I would have seen you say that, you know, you would have come back and hijack the party. So, I don't know. I don't know. So after the election, I mean, let me hear what you have to say. I mean, you're supposed to speak.
You talk about the election. So this election, that we make a fresh start with a new leader, or a fresh start with a new leader after the election. We have two options. Either we make a fresh start with a new leader, or a fresh start with a new leader after election. I always say PNM is the problem, UNC is not the solution. And it looks like we remain with the problem until we get a solution. So I don't stop that. Right now I'm dealing with Dhelia Gabriel. Right? That's the PNM is the problem, UNC is not the solution. And I keep saying it for the past 10 years. And it's coming to pass, and we're seeing it every single day. So it looks like we might remain with the problem until we get a solution. Because what I'm seeing today, people are not about country anymore. People are about their party. Right? People are about their party. Right now, we see what's going on in the United States of America. We see what's going on in Europe. We see what's going on in Africa. We see what's going on in North and Central America. Right? And if people ain't take heed and in watch and see what's taking place, and see that this could affect we here in the Caribbean badly. But we see people who on their own personal gains. Because let me tell you something, eh? When last you hear they say, yes, we say every creed and race finally equal, but we see that in Trinidad. We see that in Trinidad. That is our national anthem. Every creed and race find an equal place. But have we really seen it?
But I can tell you something too, Wendell. When you go in the hospitals and you see people saying down outside the hospitals and you see other people going inside, that alone will answer the question there.
Right. Because we're seeing things.
I went clinic last week. And I had also sit down outside San Fernando Hospital in a little shed where it does have after accident and emergency down there. So wait until a number call. And I see people pass right through the door, they whisper something and they just pass through. So that's like the public hospital.
Yeah.
So I really don't believe that the every creed and race have an equal place in Trinidad. I really don't believe that.
Yeah. They have demanded the national anthem. As we just asked if whether what you said in the national anthem. They say, and every creed and race find an equal place. But you had to ask yourself if that was so, Dr. Dhelia Gabriel would that be on the street today? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Would that be on the street today?
Mm-hmm.
And if we have leaders who in no respect for investigation, you remember at that time they say, I don't know who truth is it. They say I think it was Patrick Solomon or something so who walk in a station and take out his stepson.
Nah, I can't remember that one.
Right?
I being real,
Yes,
that one I can't remember.
yes, but yes, that people would tell you about that story, but I didn't know about it. I wasn't in my time. But people talk what some people when they're authority what they could do,
Mm-hmm.
leaders,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that is the price we have to pay today. And if we have people who would stand up in this country for what is right, and yes, everybody have an option, to choose the party they want. Yes. But when you support a party and you form government, it's not your party, anymore, it's the country. You have to work for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Those who even self and support you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot turn a blind eye and try to victimize them. And have people in this country, they say he's not a PNM, he's not a UNC, and when you're in government, we can't help you. Right? Let them suffer. You can't help it. And let me tell you something, and that's why our country where it is today. Because when you're the minister of works, you're the minister of work for the whole entire country, you're not the minister of work for PNM.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're not the minister of health for PNM. You're not the minister of agriculture for PNM. You're not the minister, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever party form, you're the minister, you're the prime minister for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. You represent Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm-hmm.
And there are plenty things I will say that ministers said they're going to do, and election come and they didn't do it. And then they're going back to the people and ask the people to vote for them. And we have to look and see who it is that the people we really want in our parliament. The 41 of them, we have to say 41, we can't say 31 of them, because the 31 of them is appointed. Right? The 31 senators have been appointed. The government have 16, the opposition have 6, and the president have 9. And all of them have been appointed. You don't vote for senators in this country. You vote for members of parliament.
You
and
see,
the party that have the most amount of seats, huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
And the party that have the most amount of seats form the government. And they pick how much ministers they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And put them junior and senior ministers. And they're also in charge of all the state boards, all the board appointment. Either it's a first class board, a second class board, a C class board, or a D class board. The government, the ruling party is in charge of all of that. And the president act on the advice of the prime minister with consultation of the opposition leader. So the prime minister who have the powers in selecting people, the president has to carry the function, and they just have to tell the opposition leader. The opposition leader could object, but she have no say in it. The opposition leader, he or she have no say in it. So that is our system is, and this country needs constitutional reform. And if we get constitutional reform, we will have proportional representation. We will have the right to recall MP who not working, because there are plenty MPs who just go in there and say they're supporting their leader. The leader said this, the leader said that. They hear about bullying right now on both sides of the fence. They hear one fella named Victor Roberts say recently, they started to bully them to bring Maxi. And if you put the Maxi, you're bullying them. You little typing, you're getting as a counselor, as an older man, they want 10% of it. Right? That is bullying. That is the people who telling you that if you don't give them X, Y, and Z, you cannot be in their party. And they're costing people left, right, and center. You hear them talking about something 33 years ago about short young, but in their own party, have people who bullying it. A known pastor talk about a member of parliament who they put back up, and a female member of parliament that they put back up on the opposition bench. They say with a known bandit, and they're introducing them to the public. Right now, we don't know if we might have David Lee as our next person to go back up. Or I think they changed it. They call it now, instead of Pointe-a-Pied, they call it what? Marbella what? Marbella Pointe-a-Pied, whatever the name is. I can't remember the name what they changed it to. And he, before the court, with $1 million bill. There are people who they say know about human trafficking. Candice Bond gone and leave Trinidad and Tobago, and the investigation still going on. And they say have members of parliament sitting in the parliament. Well, the parliament dissolved, so they're no longer member of parliament. There is former member of parliament. And they're still fooling the people and saying they're the current member of parliament. Imagine they dissolved parliament, election died, and the only people who have a say right now in this country is the cabinet. the cabinet won. Yeah, the cabinet won the election, won until the election on the 28th, along with the PS of all ministries. So it have no member of parliament again. So they're themselves fooling the people. They didn't want to say there was a former member of parliament, you know, until
election.
You will know who. Yes, I tell you, they're still fooling the people. Right? They're still fooling the people. So I the member of parliament. Let me go on there, and they introduce them as member of parliament. The minister say the candidate is a candidate now.
You see, what I does watch Wendel. When you see the politician does laugh at people like us, who does be fighting the battle in and outside of politics. You know why? Because when it is you fight a war on the basis of the people. At the end of the day, when times like this come close, nigh, drawing close, you does see that their supporters fighting you too. So, and they are the very ones that help you. Now, in the area, at Point 14, where it had, an old lady was living next door to an empty lot. And we would have seen that for numerous years that this person there wasn't cutting the place. So we went on and would have highlighted the situation, you know, extensively. And when we would have passed back there, I go call the party. You know, saying that, you know, we expecting it to vote for us, you know, we do certain things. The old lady would have turned around and said, no, don't feel because you helped me. That means I'm a voting. I said, well, who the jail is this, boy? It bother me. Because any politician supposed to do that is, and when we help you on a particular level and you show you or give you an example that, you know, that is what we are about. And that's supposed to be convincing enough.
Yes. That's but yeah, you raise a good point there, but who listening? Right? I never tell you something. You see, after nomination day, after the 4th, you will see the true colors of political parties. This election will be nasty. Yeah?
I've seen that.
This election will be nasty. They will try to dig dirt on people. And some will be lies. And you see, social media will play a very important role in this election. And watch and you will see face.
Because a lot of people calling, man, cussing me and saying, Jeffrey, I ain't like what you do. I say, what I do here? I am here to represent people. This thing for me is not about personality. You know? This thing for me is not about going and diving underneath a political umbrella. You know? This thing for me is about representation. Because at the end of the day, that is what people is crying out for. And we would have seen the structures that exist. And the structures that exist have bad reputation. Now we could go on and on and on and on and on talking about these issues, but is the people really ready for change? Is the people really ready for people to represent them? Because where I live here, I have a whole community on my back that begging for representation. And you sit down, you talk to them concerning the issue, they highlight the issue, you bring them on to talk about it, they get their issues fixed, they're gone. And when election day come, it's like if everybody get hit underneath a spell. When election day come, nobody study anything. It's not about rational, logical behavior anymore. You know. People behave differently. We become enemies when it's election day. The same person that you used to look as a friend, you're watching him, he's a PNM boy. That one is a UNC, and we forgetting unity. I would have now spoken about the flag, about the national anthem. Every creed and race find an equal place. And we supposed to be looking for the betterment of our country, the area that we live, the village. And if we are not seeing representation in a particular fashion or in a particular way, the onus is on us to speak out concerning it. And I believe that you have a higher, people like you and I, Wendel, have a serious responsibility because we speak out on things on a nationalistic, on national platforms. And at the end of the day, these same set of people going and spit in your face. It come in.
What I realize in this country, and if you all not seen it, if the center can hold together, everything will fall apart. You hear what I say? If the center cannot hold together, everything will fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't put people at the center of development, then something definitely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If the center cannot hold together, then something is definitely wrong. And if the center is falling apart, something is definitely wrong. And if you can't put people at the center of development, then you know it is trouble and mayhem. And as you rightly said, enough people will say they like you. They will say, you're a good person, you know. But when it's time to support, they will not support you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They say, okay, then they will say, Jeffrey's a good person, you're a candidate. But you're with the wrong party. They will see you have good plans for your community, for your constituency. But they will come and support you. Because what we reach in this country, we vote for party rather than development. Right? We vote for party rather than a manifesto which will say they will do this and do that. We vote for leaders rather than we say we're supporting leaders for Trinidad and Tobago. Listen to me, I've been following politics in this country. And I will say that anytime PNM at a loss, because the East-West corridor changed hands. And people say, I will not support the UNC, but I will stay away. And they will make sure that the PNM lost. But on the other side, they don't change hands. Watch and see for yourself. Watch and see for yourself. Watch and see. Go back to the time when it's the 33. Go back to the time when it was the 29, 10, and then after it come down to what? 18, and see who are the people change hands. But I'm not talking about changing hands right now. What we country need now is people for country, people to develop with plans and policies that will take Trinidad and Tobago into a new dimension. And we have to watch and see, and we have to ask the question if we're ready for change. That's why I keep saying PNM is the problem, UNC is not the solution. I said either we make our first start with a new leader or our first start with a new leader after the election. So we have two options, right? And the other thing, what I keep saying, one is the problem, one is not the solution. And we could end up with the problem until we get a solution. One, right? And this is what we are seeing right now. People in this country studying how to get power and not studying how to develop Trinidad and Tobago. And not studying what will happen 5 years down the road. Not studying what is taking place in America with this guy, Donald Trump. What he's saying is that some people jumping on the bandwagon and wishing for this to happen to we and this to happen to we. But we have to wish for what is best for Trinidad and Tobago. We have to stand up and bind together, because we is a sovereign country. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And we have to know what is best. And we have to have leaders who will stand up and fight for Trinidad and Tobago. And that's what we need. And when we look at the candidates, you think them people who they announced last night should be in the forefront anymore? Them should never be in the forefront. But then again, they will vote for them because why?
A party announced them.
Right. Party affiliation, cult voting. We're voting for the kind. We're not voting for Trinidad and Tobago. Right? When you see an MP walking the street and community to community. Okay then, let me draw for an instance.
Mm-hmm.
When you go up as a candidate, you just get the constituency map.
Right.
And the constituency map will tell you how much polling division in your constituency.
Right.
How much of them they take their time and go to polling division by polling division and walk through the polling division? Plenty people tell you they don't see the MP, they don't know who's the MP, they just only hear the MP name so and so. Right?
Well, that has gone on a regular basis. Imagine people vote.
Right, they will say they just know the MP name so and so, but they don't clear the MP to do nothing. You know, the only time they will see the MP is if you have a disaster in a community and the people start to protest, they will start to come now and say, yes, right? They will see who inside there, who for them, and tell them, come, MP, come.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
When the MP come, they say, we don't see you, we don't know you. Right? All of a sudden, they bring it and you see them walking around. Let me tell you something, MPs, certain candidates who was former MPs who back as candidates, community should be running them and tell them, go from here. Don't let them come and fool all them. People have to get away from this type of voting and vote for someone who will represent them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Vote someone who will go into parliament and fight for them. Don't go and want to walk out of parliament because your leader still let you walk out. Right? And your community suffering, your constituency suffering. The budget is to develop every single constituency in Trinidad and Tobago. The money that's given to every minister and every ministry is for every constituency in Trinidad and Tobago. And these are the things we must be standing up and fighting for and demanding. And if they was doing that, bet you even the opposition constituency would have been starved for resources. And if the MPs was doing the correct thing, they'd have had to put things in there. Because if they bring their constituents in front of Parliament to protest, well, you know what they will do? They will bring them to say, Kamla, Rowley, and well, you know, we're short young. But they will bring them to stand up for what is right. And that's what they're supposed to be doing.
Now, what?
Then they just come and complain.
What
and when you is the problem.
And you know what you would have said there is something that's very instrumental, because the problem that exists within Trinidad and Tobago is not that they don't know, you know. The two parties know what is taking place within this country and what it needs to fix. Watch how long some of them there, some of them they're in public life for over 20 years. They know what needs to be
Some of them want
fixed.
to die in office.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Some
yeah.
of them want to die in office.
Yeah.
This is what we are facing in Trinidad and Tobago today.
It bothering in it because let me tell you something. There was a time that I used to be around my uncle a lot, and he was a member of parliament. And there was a time that somebody, a technician there, would have been developing a system that all the MPs and councillors would have had access to. They would have put all the information in the system. So what needs to be fixed in that area? That when one party would have demitted office, the next one will go in and have this thing there. Everybody gonna know what taking place. And you know, to be quite honest, you know, none of them agreed to have that system installed. You know that Wendel, and there's why I know how sting politics is. It's easy. Look AI. Look at that AI now. AI, you could type up on AI right about now and find out actually what is taking place anywhere in the world. And that is to show that a system like that is a no-brainer. If you go now and you type up on the same Google search engine, that is that we go call that prehistoric AI. And you can type up anything. If I type up Wendell, everything will come up with your name on it. And this is what is taking place. The problem could be solved. And I am thinking today that it is the way how it is because that is how they want it. The broken system that they have, people make or fight. And you know, certain people rise and fall because of the system that they have in place. It's very disheartening. And at the end of the day, people want change really and truly. They want to survive once they're comfortable within the problem that they are in. They're going through a problem. You can show them, send two hampers to them. They are good. Everything is all right. And that is what I am seeing here. Because if you're talking about standing up for country, that go higher than any party. That goes straight to the representative for any area. But what I mean when they pick up the fight to be in politics, it's because of representation. The money comes after. So as I say, many of the people just call me and cuss me and thing. And you know why? I have been representing people out of my hand. All the time, every time. But the minute, the very second, the election bell call, all friendship done. They forget.
Well, sometimes you have to lose friends, right? And you will know that they're not really a friend. And those who are your friend will stand up with you, right? No matter what,
Mm-hmm.
they will say, this is a person who for his constituency or his community.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at local government representation
Mm-hmm.
by councillors, councillors today is following their leader rather than work with the MP and work with the organization that fall in the ministries or in the corporation to represent their people in the proper way, their constituents. But representation at local government level by councillors is more to support party leader. And I will go back to what Victor Robert said, the man who was dragging the coffin throughout Trinidad and Tobago, are now complaining about what is going on in his party and about bullying and representation and how they treat their own, the very own. And if they don't follow a maxi to come to a pavement meeting on Monday night for what will be the consequences?
and then they have to go on social media and praise the leader. That just to show you clearly that this is a party don't care about proper representation and the development of Trinidad and Tobago. It's so clearly that this is a party, all they're concerned about is to get into government and hell break loose afterwards. So the country need representation, proper representation. Constituents need proper representation. Constituents who are in their constituency, who are registered to vote, they must make up their mind if they're satisfied with the type of representation they're getting presently, or if they want to move on with someone who will represent them better and provide better opportunities for them. That is lies in the hands of constituents in the 41 constituencies who are eligible to vote, whose name is on the voting list in their constituency. So this is how this election has to be fought with people who are willing to stand up to represent their constituency. And I want to ask the question, how much of them we are seeing today willing to do that? But everything lies in the hands of the voting population. They will decide who they want to lead them come the 28th of April 2025. I am being honest here. I had high hopes. I had very, very high hopes. I even said I want to throw my hat in the ring, and I'm still deciding. But you have to ask the question, if you go as a dependent, if you will get the support. Although they know you're good enough, they know you will stand up for them, they know you will fight for them,
No, they know that. They know that support.
Yes.
Nah,
Right, if they will support you, they will say, he's a good man,
Yeah, but no support.
Right, so that's the question you have to ask. So then this is something you have to think it out. And then you don't want to, you see, the only thing my mother used to say, the only thing you have is your name, and you have to protect your name. Right? You have to protect your name. And you have to know that if you want to go into it, you have to go into a race that you say, I have to be a winner, not a loser. Right? And then some people will say, why you go with them for? You could have come with we.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a whole gypsy puzzle. Why you go with them for? You could have come with we. You could come with we and change the thing, but you ask the girl the question, what thing you want to change? Huh? What you want to change? Party didn't follow their own constitution in how to elect a leader. Yeah? Party
Yes.
didn't follow their own constitution on how to elect a leader. So what you will change? If you're breaking your own constitution, you think you would respect the constitution of the land? You think you would respect the constitution of the land?
No, if they're doing that, they won't.
Right, you will respect the whole constitution of the land. Right. Take for instance, let me give you a great example. The THA, the PDP. All of them went fight under the PDP. Now they fight under what? PP.
PP. Well,
they move from
Wendel, we have a caller, and
independent.
the reason why I would have called back the caller is that he was trying to get in. As a caller that is always weighing on these kind of conversations. Good evening, caller.
All right.
Hello?
Hello, good night.
Yes, good night.
Yeah, good night.
So as he was calling in, I know he does normally calls, and I know he does come with some good contribution. So what contribution you have tonight concerning what we are speaking about?
The system that we have, as was stated by many people before, everybody wants to represent, everybody have ideas, and everybody's entitled to their views. But the issue here now is that whoever wins have to go into a system that is controlled by a constitution. And that constitution, as it is, allows for what is going on in the country right now. If you want to represent people and you want to come out and protest and make noise and all this kind of thing, it is where you start. Some people choose to start at the county council level and then move to the political level. But unless you're not in government, based on the system, then you cannot help nobody anywhere, because all the money that you would need to do anything and all the policy that you would need comes from government. So to sit down and protest and to make noise and to carry on and thing bears no fruit unless you're in a position to serve. But when they get elected now, they don't serve the people anymore, they serve themselves, and they dictate to the population what they decide to happen without telling you that, but by actually now enacting it. So how do we go about now making that necessary change for things to happen? And you need to have a constitutional majority to make that necessary change. The other issue is that if you look at other jurisdictions, take America for example, and their constitution is what it is, but in that constitution, the rights of people are enshrined under the different acts that they have. So you have the right to this, the right to that, the right to everything, and under that system now, there are institutions you can go to now that will represent, that will ensure that these things happen. But in Trinidad, we don't have that. And everything in Trinidad now is actually financed by the government. So, for example, if the media is talking against the government, all the government do is to threaten them to withhold financing, and they have to now speak what the government wants them to speak. So no investigation goes on. If the Integrity Commission is financed by the government, then who they investigating? So until we don't have a system which part now it is allowed for an individual to have an avenue or an institution where I could come and make a complaint, and that complaint is investigated within a particular time frame that would make a difference, and people begin to understand what is necessary, then we just talking because we could talk. So changes must come now from where it is necessary. So the constitution has to be changed. Basi Pani talk about that plenty. No effort has been made to change the constitution. At the same time, and all too, there was a time when the UNC had proposed that to give MPs $10 million to run their constituency, so it will have things happening whether in opposition or not. That was strike down. People talk about what checks and balances. So if everything going through the Auditor General, well then that's the place has to go. But there is room for corruption because Trinidadians know how to beat the system.
Yes.
And that happens because of the Constitution. So the relevant checks and balances and the bodies that are instituted to deal with these things, not doing that. Imagine today on the media we hear a minister was involved in some transaction with some drug person, and the police say they have no investigation. Them looking to investigate them. So the issue here now is how do you get these things to work? How do we now raise the level of integrity?
Now, Paula.
What do we say any national?
Yes, no, I would have heard that argument, and the reason why I would have never dive into it is that at one point in time, sometimes when you go into business with somebody, it doesn't ask them for a certificate or character. Sometimes it just take what they say at face value. Say, let me say you in my area, and they say, boy, let me go into a car wash business, and we decide to register it. I mean, I take what I see at face value. I would have known you for a while, and you may have had some former charges prior. So, I see the story, and I find it wasn't fair in how some of the comments I was hearing concerning that. I was concerning with Leon's. And, I mean, people have their own opinion. I heard this story. I mean, I don't find some of the comments concerning that was really fair, a matter of fact.
Now, the issue here now, let me look at another minister. Another minister went to the swearing-in ceremony with a known person who is involved in illegal things from Dong Silence.
Yes.
And she was chastised. She was thrown out.
Yes.
And they find all kind of things out to investigation because they want to get rid of her. But when they're defending you, the Prime Minister now becomes judge, jury, and executioner now. He decides before the court, before the police could investigate, before the DPP could say anything. He decides whether this person is innocent or not. So there's no investigation. So when we're looking at issues and items, we'll look at the item from an institutional perspective, whereby there is a place that we can do that. And if let's imagine you as an individual don't have much money,
Yes.
and you feel aggrieved of a particular thing, and you don't have money to hold big papi lawyers and them kind of thing, then that matter is dead in the water. You have to accept that and roll. So when we say in the national anthem, every creed and race finds an equal. What is equal? Explain that word equal for me. What is equal place? All of you will get the same house, the same job, the same
No, well,
salary, the same everything?
there's a second question towards that. Equal, and then people go into equity and these kind of things. I mean, I mean,
You know,
come on, not everybody born equal. There's the argument around that. I understand what you're saying.
Correct. So when we say find an equal place, it might be equal opportunity in the sense you go to school, you have the opportunity to learn, to acquire the credentials in order to get now a job to acquire the essentials.
Yes.
And then when going for the job now, it's based on an assessment. Hey.
True. You're here, man. You're here.
Yeah, so but the issue is that while we're talking and we brainstorming and we're bringing about ideas and thoughts, that sounds nice. We have to look now, how can we effect these things? How can we now get this stuff to function and to operate? So let me just bring a scenario. When UNC was in power, the trade unions used to march, people marching, and that was a good opposition to force the government of the day to change its ways. And many a times when ministers were found wanted, the prime minister at that time sent them to clear the name. In this present government, anybody is found wanted or any complaint make, the judge, jury, and executioner say he see nothing wrong with that and they continue as normal. So whether that is the case, just imagine a man can't give account for $2.5 billion and there's no real investigation into that. And an airport which is operational, where they talk for $1.1 billion, where they say there was collusion between contractors, that was investigated and still investigation going on. And when they couldn't have it fixed in this jurisdiction, they sent it to another jurisdiction to see how they can get things done. So it tells you when they want to pursue a matter, they know how to do that. And that is only done by those in authority. But you at the ground level down here, we could sit down on TV and talk all day and bring up all the salient points and all the things that is really and truly honest. But there are no avenues to vent these things that will bring about some form of result. So people work from all levels, and we could call upon the MPs and the councillors and do what we want. But if they have no financing, how can they help you? So things have to happen now from a different level. And while we say they are government for the whole of Trinidad and Tobago, really and truly they are government for their own constituencies. And the rest suffer until the government change hand and then they work in them areas and they don't do anything. The only thing that we get equal might be water, and some of we just get water once every 13 days, some getting every day.
True.
I will tell you, when I used to live in Barataria, every day we have water, we never out. When I live in Long Central here, it was once every 13 days. We get electricity, and then when they're about it, instead of they change over and synchronize, they don't. They cut off the supply and put it on. When you put it back on your fridge and think about to start back, it comes out, you have to pay for that. And when you go to them and you join the line, they have a system to say this. When by the time you do an investigation now, you're suffering. So there are no places, no institution that has been developed and put in circumstances where you do that. So I just tell everybody that we're supposed to have the regional corporations as government offices, that I don't have to leave Marabella to go to Port Spring. I must now go to the constituency office in that area now and they will handle it, because we've now gone digital. It's about digitalization and this and that and modern technology and all kind of fancy. But when you want something, you have to travel down, you have to go now and apply and wait 2 weeks. And then they will call you back, it had some error, you didn't put an and. Then you go back the next 2 weeks again. You have to take a day off from the people's job. Travel and go there and come back and go back and forth, all sort of nonsense. And they have no idea to do. When you go to the public servants cleaning their nails, they go into the washroom. And you have to sit down there and wait. And then we're done, they cut you off at the system and come back the next day. And these things happen because there is no system and there are no institutions that actually do things in a proper way. So these are the things that we need to change. And when we get these things done now, people can operate. As far as representation is concerned, you could now represent your people out there, but that doesn't mean to say they have to continue representing you. So if I give you a bread, I mean you're obligated to me until the end. That don't work out that way. So we have to look at things now from a bread and butter issue to the extent where everybody now has that ability now to actually feed their families, to educate, and opportunities are available. As the former prime minister who say he resigned, but really until he's still the leader, he tell you if you really go to America, I have family there, they have to pay for everything. Every single thing you have to pay for. We are still lucky down here that we have certain things, but the representation that we have doesn't actually allow for these things to happen. You look at the hospital system. If you pay these doctors well, and they could only operate in the hospital and not in a private practice, they won't use that to solicit you to come to their private practice and empty a bank account. So they're helping you only when they're in the private practice and you could pay. If you can't pay, something happens. Look at another incident. Miss Tishera, as she was, her husband died in a nursing home. But because of who she was and what she can do and what she can afford, she sued the place and she got $20 million. You think you and I could do that?
No. Right, but
you don't have that money to get these things.
Right now, I have a legal matter with where I would have sued a magistrate, a matter of fact. And first,
yes, so,
first it's sad. Right now, they shelved the matter shelved. I just waiting on a date. And if it was somebody else, something would have been done more faster than that.
Correct. But correct. I went. My madam got a stroke, and I went to San Fernando General Hospital. These are Apostol something. And we remained 5 days in the corridor. And when we reach for them to check, they say it's a hemorrhagic stroke. And if they didn't put a stent within 72 hours, she will remain that way for the rest of her life. And that is what is happening. So they didn't check it to see they could put that. So you begin to understand the system, and there's no redress. I cannot do anything about that. And then when they finish now, they wanted to put a hose in her nose, and when she struggled a little bit, they tied with one good hand of a stroke patient who can't move. So by the time I get in now to make noise, now the doctor tells me I can't tell him what to do. And there's no redress for that. Who do you complain to? And what will be done about it? So these are issues that arise, and I'm just one person. You could imagine thousands that similar things like this happen to them. So we need to have an institutional change. And if we don't have that institutional change and a constitutional change, then nothing that we say, whether it makes sense or not, will happen.
Yes.
So we could talk one party or the next party, it doesn't make a difference. And we could look at things that are from the own perspective because we ain't get position of power. Well, they ain't good and them kind of thing. Or I in the party long time. If you're running a race and you could only run 10 seconds and your partner could run 9.9, that's the money you have to put in the race because you have to get past the post. The idea is about winning.
Yes.
It's about getting into office to contribute.
The idea
into office.
The idea is about winning. The idea is about winning, in truth.
Yeah, and the issue is that the real issue is about serving the people. We elect you to represent us and to serve us. But now you come and you become a dictator, dictating to we, well, you can't get this, you can't get that. You go one side and they put up people now to talk you down and push you in a corner and all kind of thing. We ain't going away.
Well, Kola, thanks for your contribution. I mean, you're always on the ball.
Yeah, man.
Yes, man. So, Mr. Eversley.
Yeah.
Right, so you would have heard that entire discussion. I see you mute your mic and thing on your side. So, we reach up to the time limit, a matter of fact. I mean, I know you hear the contribution if you want to weigh in on it. I mean, you can go ahead and do so.
I listened to what the guy said, and he said talk about protests, because we have to be in government to get something done. But I think I would differ for him concerning the protests, because I think they'll handle these protests for 20 consecutive years in order to get something done. And it eventually happened.
for 20 years.
20 years, and it eventually happened. And I still continue protesting for the another phase, and it will happen. Because I'm telling you, it don't matter who. And when God said it's over, it's over. But I want to talk what the guy talked about the protest. He said the protest sometimes it didn't make no sense. But I will support, because if you're not getting anything as an opposition member for your constituency, then you shouldn't be there. Because as I said, when you're in government and you're a minister responsible for Ministry of Works and Transportation or local government, and it have problems in your constituency when local government is concerned, the minister have to attend to it. If you don't attend to it, then you have to go to your constituents and tell your constituents that, hey, I'm making my presenter and look at it falling on deaf ear. And if you bring your people and your people start to protest and they take action, eventually they will have to come and attend to it. But what we are seeing today, MPs not doing that. MPs more studying that, telling their constituent, we in opposition, what are we to do? We can't do nothing, right? But they're using that as a some form of a weapon to not to get anything done for their constituent. Praying that the next time around, they will get the people to say, they ain't do anything for us, so let's vote them out. But they're really suffering their very own constituency. So sometimes you need to take some sort of action, not illegal action, of mean to go and burn down this, burn down that, but you need to take action by protest.
So what you're saying
And
then
protest will get,
is a strategic approach they're taking by saying to stay in power then. To say, well, you know,
yes,
they're not doing this, they're not doing that. So let me dive down into this a little bit. So let me say, for instance, let me tell you what is going on in library. The half a library belongs, let me say, the whole of library belongs to the Superior Regional Corporation. That is a UNC run corporation. But PNM, a PNM MP wins the area. So, to say in the least, I just saying this is one, I mean, in other cases, it might be vice versa. It might have a UNC and a PNM corporation. The example is not what I really say in that states that take place, but in a scenario like this, where PNM council, MP own Ozova area and it have a UNC council, what happened is that these boroughs and things starve these areas as to say that the MP not dealing with the area properly to win an election. Is that what you're saying in a nutshell?
yeah, they will not want to work with each other, and that is wrong, and that because they will be suffering their own electoral district, their own constituents, right? And when they should put aside the differences, election time is war between parties. Whoever win. But as you rightly said, in the constituencies in like Labre, certain part of Labre will be falling under Superior constituency.
Mm-hmm.
Certain part of Superior constituency will be falling under a constituency that belongs to PNM, and whatever PNM member of parliament. But it's the same area, it's the same Labre. The whole everything is Labre, but when the election and boundaries, how they do the division for constituencies, they have it like this, they have it like that. But at the end of the day, when an MP, for instance, if you're living on the left side of the road and you living on the right side of the road, and the right side of the road is Labre constituency and the left side is Superior constituency, but it's still in Labre. When the person on the Labre constituency, which belongs to, on the left side, which belongs to Superior, go to the MP, which is there in their constituency, which is in Labre, he will tell them, go to the Superior, your area is not my area. And that's to show where the divisions come in. But
You ain't looking at it that way. So they will say, I'm not doing anything for that side. That side is not belongs to me. And that way you see where constituencies suffer. Because most of the constituencies in Trinidad and Tobago, for instance, I could tell you about Tunapuna. I will take Tunapuna as a reference. The right side of Tunapuna belongs to St. Augustine. The left side belongs to Tunapuna. And it's in Tunapuna itself. Back street of Tunapuna is St. Augustine. And when you go to St. Cecilia Road, that is Tunapuna. Constantine Park belongs in St. Augustine, right? But Constantine Park is in Tunapuna. And you will see Constantine Park, people be complaining that they doing nothing for St. Augustine. When they go to the MP say, I can't do nothing because that I in opposition. And when that thing's supposed to be the Ministry of Sports and the local government supposed to be looking at Constantine Park and see how they could do best to it, because there are a lot of activities go on in Constantine Park, and Constantine Park is named after a great cricketer, Larry Constantine. And what Constantine Park up to the day, it's remain the same. So I had to go and make video and fight for Constantine Park. Right? I get A&I Robinson, when he was the Prime Minister, come and put a pavilion there, and that pavilion there, and then it still have nothing, and a lot of activities taking place there. So that's why you see, you have to come out and protest to get something. Look at Eddie Adwang. I went and make a big protest. Eddie is a man that do a lot for forget about party politics, because everybody knows he was a member of parliament. But look at Eddie who create a lot of footballers and cricketers gracing the shores of Evian from all parts of Trinidad and Tobago come and play at Ediat. If you go in your same constituency of Labre, they will tell how much people went to Ediat and play football. Right? Even from teen, from up in Labre, Point 14, everybody go down there by Ediat and play. And is fighting. Now we get in a pavilion, a state Ediat pavilion, right, for Ediat. But he was former minister, parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Sports, but they never looked to develop it. And the guy talk about the 10 million for constituency that was under the partnership, right? But it never developed. But that was a good idea. But the problem now would be accountability, because 41 constituencies and 10 million. The budget, well, that time we got 50 something billion dollars and all that. And if you get a constituency and an MP $10 million for his constituency, right? Those who in government, those who in opposition, that could have gone a long way, but that never bear any come to fruition to say that they're going to implement it and give it. That's why you see a lot of things on the political platform that we talk, and when it comes to implement it, they don't do it. They don't do it. They talk about constitutional reform, and when it comes to the time for constitution, they don't do it, because when they see how much power as a prime minister have, you think he's studying about constitutional reform? He ain't studying about that, because the prime minister, is the one who selects his own cabinet. He's the one who selects state boards. He's the one who selects a lot of important commissioner of police. No matter what, we might have independent bodies to select and go through the selection interviews and all that. But when it comes to the veto powers, it's the prime minister. The prime minister could say, I want this commissioner, and I don't want the commissioner tell them, I ain't not going with this person, go back again and look for a commissioner. We see it happen numerous times. And the time the money spent to get this commissioner, that just started over, which means that they get more money again. And it's who money playing up is taxpayers' money, not money come from their own pocket. So the 10 million for constituencies, I see that as a good start, especially for constituencies which belongs to the opposition members of parliament. That would have done a lot for them. But the problem is, you look at accountability. When they give that money, who would they give any money to? The member of parliament, or the member of parliament will set up a committee in his constituency to make recommendation to see how they will go about to spend this money in developing their constituency, what have been elected. Are they going to go into the UL part of the committees and develop the committees? If you travel, and I go down, I just travel sometime and go and visit the opposition constituencies and watch the roads and see the state of the drain and all this kind of, in a is in a mess, right? But sometimes I ask myself if the MPs and the councillors doing enough in terms of representation and making the noise to make sure that they get some sort of relief. But we need to make sure that we have proper roads, proper drainage, proper sporting facilities, right? We need to make sure that we have proper health facilities in communities, right? So that the communities will benefit. We need to make sure that we have proper social services in communities to help those who need. The next thing what we need in what I think communities need to, we see a lot of single parent mothers, right? Some of them can't go and look for work. You know why? That is who will look after their children. And if we look about daycare centers and hiring people to see about daycare center, children, mothers, single parent who could now go and learn a trade or go to do some sort of job, and you know that when they come back home, they have these days where they could go and pick up their children and see the government. And that will come on the role also too of the MP representation, right? And they should be fighting for these things because a lot of mothers don't want to really depend on handouts, you know.
Yeah.
But they ain't getting the opportunity because why? They meet fellas and them who give them 1, 2, 3 children and say, hey, or they take that and you can't find the father. You can't find the father, so then what the person left for now? She alone had to say about these children. She can't go and look for a proper job, and she had to depend on handout. She had to depend on social welfare. Go and understand now, and see how much money they could get a month for a child. And you see the government now to sometimes is encouraging and say we increasing it from 1 child to 2 child, 2 child, and instead of they put centers, so the mothers drop the child in the morning, and they have people who they're employing, right, to take care of these children so that the mothers now could go and educate themselves, right? Go back to school, go to some thing, get a job. So when they come back now, they know they could go and pick up the child, right? Take care of the child after that from 8 to 4, 8 to 5, right? Some of them, according to the distance after go, right, be there until 6 o'clock, they get them a cut-off time. And these are the things we want to see, but we ain't seen it. We ain't not seeing it. We ain't seen. We talk about daycare centers for children and things. How many children we seeing really parents really sending their children to the daycare centers, right? And that we need. We have plenty schools in the area, secondary schools. They could have it after homework centers, after school homework centers. Keep it. They have it lock up and have classes for people in the community who want to go back to school, who want to study, right? While evening classes, there are teachers in the area, teachers who retired from the service, right? Give them a stipend to kind of teach, because plenty teachers who retire and have nothing to do in their communities, you know, and they have the expertise. We could use some of those expertise to these same secondary schools that they build all over the place, and after school is locked down, right? So these schools could have evening classes from 5 to 7 or 5 to 8 and teaching people, and people could go back to school, learn a trade, learn something. When last year secondary school have trade departments of for trades. Long time in secondary school, if a child can take the theory part, he could do practical part, he could learn a trade, it have welding, it have mechanic, it have all different sort of woodwork. You don't see that again. The only teaching it to only to be to book, and not everybody could take book. Not everybody. People mind develop differently, and we ain't seeing that. We ain't seeing that, and the only way we could see that thing is if we have people and who going to represent constituencies who will think, right, and go throughout the constituencies and get a feel and do a proper survey on what the constituent need. Every member of parliament should have a manifesto for their constituency. They come with a manifesto for the party. Yes, the party manifesto for the party is good. But what about the manifesto for your constituency? You ever hear a member of parliament go in parliament and say, this is when the budget time comes, say, this is my manifesto for my constituency for 5 years. This is what I want to see done for my constituency. You don't see that?
No.
You ever hear that?
I never hear it. I never hear it.
Right. Because what they go with, they say, the party gonna launch the manifesto. This is what the manifesto is. And that manifesto is for what? Trinidad and Tobago. And what they're going to do. But what about the manifesto for their constituents? Because who have to vote for them in order for them to get there? Not their constituents?
Yeah.
So they should say, come with a manifesto to develop my constituency. Say what is needed in my constituency, and you deal with every woman, man, and child. And each constituency have things to be done. And when they go down and they say the manifesto for my constituency, there already 10 million will come in. What? What could I say? What could I say?
Well, Wendel, I mean, we come up to the edge of the program, a matter of fact. I mean, we want to say in closing concerning the whole matter we was talking today, because I'm going to play the video before we close off it, concerning the next doctor that would have said something that was racist, and and I mean, and nothing really come out. He didn't lose his license, nothing like that.
My next move, as I said in the beginning of the program, is that I'm going to write to all the political leaders, the opposition leader, and also the Prime Minister concerning Dr. Dhelia Gabriel. And also I will find out what constituency she belongs to. And I'm going to write also to the candidates in her constituency concerning her situation. And I am not going to write I'm not going to write Teelucksingh any letter again. Right? Any letter again. And I wanted people to know that just as how they could reinstate other people, they could reinstate Dr. Dhelia Gabriel. And the Medical Board of Trinidad and Tobago, I think they did Dr. Dhelia Gabriel at this service. And all of them who plot to do this deal, what they did, one day they will have to answer. One day they will have to answer. Because they always say, what in the dark, just come to the light. And those who want to say that that is old news and old story, and this, they must start standing up and fighting for their own. Yeah, yes. We talk about the national anthem. You raise it up, every creed, and we'll find an equal place. Yes, we should love everybody, but it's time love our own first. Charity begins at home and ends abroad.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Eversley, for giving up your time to explain this very, very much important issue this afternoon. And the discussion was good, although we kind of, deviate a little bit.
But I'll come back for you to talk the politics.
Yes. Yeah, I'll come back for you to talk the politics. Before you go, Mr. Eversley, I want to know what you think might be the results for this election.
The results for this election?
Yeah, who you feel might win?
I'll say, let me tell you something. That is the problem.
Who you feel might win? I mean, it have plenty political analysts go glad to answer that question that I now ask them. Judging from the climate that you are seeing, who you feel might win? Come on, guess that, man.
For the climate we are seeing, we might end up in 1976. You know, 1976? One set of political parties and PNM run away.
Thank you very much, right? Mr. Eversley. Somehow my thoughts are lining with yours. Yeah. I seen her 1976 here. I seen her 1976 here. All right, brother. Yeah, man. So, people, that was Mr. Wendel Eversley. And you know, I would have taken a call from a caller. I'd also join him to the call that we would have had here now. And the many of you that was, you know, that was trying to call and get in. I mean, we apologize for that issue that would have taken place there. Now, just to run back through the videos and them, just for you to get a feel of what we are talking about. So Miss Dhelia Gabriel is somebody that would have said something within the public domain and till today would have been held responsible. A court matter would have taken place and, you know, she was kicked out of the medical field. Now this year is the protest here that Mr. Wendel Eversley would have done with her within the thing. She would have said she's sorry, a matter of fact. Sorry.
Rights, equality of experience. Rights, equality of experiences. And I look forward to this book, delivering these letters to the relevant authorities to reconsider how they dealt with me, because I also issued a public apology. Apparently it was ignored, or I don't know, for some reason, even though it was in the local newspapers, just as bad as it was as my erroneous Facebook post was across the board. The apology also was out in the open. I will take this opportunity again to apologize once again. I am very sorry for what I said. It was wrong in every way, and it will not happen again. I intend to serve humanity as people are, regardless of race, regardless of ethnicity, you know. And going forward, this is the profession that I hold, the stand that I hold is one of nobility towards mankind, towards our fellow men, and I really look forward to some type of redress. And yeah, so yeah, that is all I have to say today.
Now, if you would have listened to that person, Dhelia Gabriel, she would have sung very much apologetic concerning this issue. Now, I do like to bring up old issues, but just to say, in the least, listen to this rant here to the people at Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, people would have come and condemn this person, but this is Avinash. So, just to remind you, and this doctor was given back his license. You know, he would have ended up on suspension for a while, and you know, he would have given the green light as to start back. And what we are saying here, we are not here to condemn anybody, but if in this case, judging from what Avinash would have said within the public domain, Dhelia Gabriel, well, he could very well give she back her job. Give her back her job, a matter of fact.
Yeah, what happened?
Why did you question me?
Listen to me. I tell you, don't hang up phone on me.
Yeah, well, I told you not to curse me. I told you not to curse me.
Yeah, but don't hang up phone on me. That's how I just talk.
No, I don't care how you just talk. Do not curse me. I told you that is my cousin who came into the office. I don't need to...
What the police doing in the office?
My cousin is a police, so what happened?
He's a police and uneducated. He don't have O levels. There's dons. Them is dons niggas.
Okay.
What are they doing in the office?
Well, okay, what you want him to be doing in the office? You tell me, because apparently you have a reason why he was there. So you tell me why he was in the office. No, well, I am telling you why he was in the office. I told you he came to speak to me. And what he spoke to me about is none of your business.
Yeah, but next time they come to talk to you, go in the police station. Right? How come no other nurses bring police in the office? It's only you. Eh? Go in the police station when they're done working. They finish work early, 3 o'clock. Go in the police station and meet them. Them is nobody. Police uneducated, so they had a little gun and they just feel they have power. All of them is take bribe. All of them is corporate.
Okay, I was just thinking about threatening me again to fire me. Let me hear.
You see how we just talk about the labor board and thing?
Right.
And police and all that thing. I swear to God, if ever you bring up that word again about the labor board, I'm firing you on the spot.
We'll hear what now? We'll hear what?
And I don't care about you. I don't afraid your father, but your father is a pauper compared to me. You know that. Your father is a pauper. I'm a multi-millionaire.
Oh, well, he's listening to you now, by the way.
What?
He's listening to you right now, by the way.
Well, let me hear that. I'm a multi-millionaire. He's a pauper. I hope he hear that. But I don't afraid of fucking body. Right? So they can call up labor board again and fire you on the spot.
Well, you don't have to fire me, Dr. Avinash Sawh. You do not have to fire me. Right?
Right, well, do whatever, right?
Right.
But don't, next time you want to
No.
Okay.
Go
in the police station. Do not bring police in the office. When patient walking and saying that they don't look good.
Go in the police station. That's what you're telling me to do now? No problem. Unlock your phone so I can Unlock your phone so I can pause this. Pause it. Wait. You don't know what.
Hello.
Hi, afternoon, Allison.
Ariel,
Uh-huh.
you got Dr. Sawh to sign a job letter for you for venture?
What do you mean if I got him to do this?
Well, I didn't write your letter.
Okay.
So how he get a letter to sign an Ariel?
Because he told me to go ahead and type it up.
What the fuck you lying for? He told you to go ahead and do a job letter? Why did you went back for after I told you I'm not doing it again?
Why are you speaking to me
Why
like
didn't
that?
you have to call me for?
Why are you talking to me like that?
Well, you look at you. I said we're not doing a job letter. Why did you go on back and ask him? Why did you generate a job letter and tell him to sign it?
If it is your
you
asking,
think it's your right?
If it is
right?
It
You
is
don't do
my
that
right.
shit inside my office.
It is
You
my
hear
right,
me?
Allison, because I'm
What
working
right
for
you have, Ariel? What fucking right you have to go and do that? Get my husband to sign a job letter for you. After I explicitly said I'm not going to do it. I gave you one for Unicom and you lied on that one.
He told
You did
me.
one for Republic Bank. What did you do?
He told me that he will do it to type it up and write it. You could ask him.
No, I just talked to him.
Well, okay.
You hear me?
Okay.
You do not ever do these kinds of things behind my back.
I did not do anything behind your back.
Oh, really? So why you went back and asked him, Ariel? Why you went back?
Allison,
Why you went back and asked him?
Allison.
You didn't tell me that you got him to sign a job letter for you. You had me in the office all the time. Why didn't you tell me? Why then you have to call me?
Well, I don't know why they call you.
Why? Why did they call me?
Anyway, tell me when you finish.
I don't need to talk to you again.
No
Because you're a
problem.
fucking bitch and you just lie plenty. Don't ever do that again to my husband to sign a job letter for you. Don't ever do that.
Okay.
Now, the young lady there would have faced, terrible retribution. I will not wish that on my own family, a matter of fact. But yet still the person there would have received back their jobs, their license for practicing. And what I am saying is this. Furthermore, we would have had a story concerning with Joel, the same one that we were delineating about whole night. And before I give my opinion concerning that, let me play this tape so you go understand what we are speaking about.
Dr. Joel Teelucksingh, known for his medical expertise and outspoken commentary, was placed on administrative leave by the Southwest Regional Health Authority after publishing a satirical column, The Emperor's New Hospital, in the TNT Guardian. The piece critiqued the political fanfare surrounding hospital openings, highlighting the lack of essential resources in new facilities. While this may have upset the SWRH's hierarchy, Teelucksingh says he did nothing wrong. He insists advocating for better healthcare is part of his duty as a doctor.
I exercised my right to freedom of expression, a right enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the same Constitution that protects every citizen's voice, every professional's conscience, and every doctor's duty to advocate.
While he is thankful to be reinstated amidst an investigation, he says transparency never fades the light, and he returns to work bolder and stronger.
I will continue to host Ask the Doctor every Thursday night at 8:30 on CNC3. I will continue to write my Friday columns. Some may be even better than the Emperor's New Hospital. I will continue to speak for those who are unheard.
Following mounting criticism, Health Minister Dhelia Gabriel stepped in, ordering the SWRHA to immediately reinstate Teelucksingh. Dhelia said he was a firm believer in free speech, even at his own personal expense. Teelussingh's suspension raised serious concerns about press freedom and free speech. Press freedom advocate Wesley Gibbons questioned whether the action violated constitutional rights.
That unless there was some explicit provision in his contract prohibiting utterances such as that, it seems to me that a violation of freedom of expression occurred.
Meanwhile, the Media Association urged caution as the country goes through an election season, warning that heightened sensitivities could impact journalistic freedom. Politicians also weighed in. Congress of the People political leader Prakash Ramadar condemned the suspension as an attack on democracy, and Miaro MP Rushan Pari called it a national disgrace, arguing that it discourages professionals from speaking out against systematic failures. With Teelucksingh reinstated, attention now shifts to the investigation and whether this controversy will have lasting implications for press freedom in Trinidad and Tobago. Kevin Feldman, CNC3 News.
So there you have it, people of Trinidad and Tobago. That was two controversial incidents that we would have bring to you, and these people were reinstated. And what we are saying today to you, members of the public, is if that could take place with the many other people, why it can't take place with Dhelia Gabriel? So what we are saying here tonight to you, members of the public, we must be fair in our delineation, whether party or whether affiliation. That would have taken place with the individual is wrong, morally. And I today is asking for full reinstatement of Dhelia Gabriel. My name is Wendel Jeffrey. This is the Workers' Rights Platform. We are broadcasting live on the Workers' Rights Network. Thanks for watching, and the many of you that still join us here tonight. Thank you.
Lone Wolf speech on Wendel Jeffrey, stand and fight. Brothers and sisters, today I stand before you not as a leader of the pack, but as a lone wolf, one who refuses to bow, refuses to submit, and refuses to accept the chains of silence. Wendel Jeffrey was not just a man. He was a symbol of struggle, a warrior for justice, a voice that refused to be drowned out by the roaring tides of corruption and oppression. He stood tall against those who sought to break the backs of the working class. He spoke the truth when it was dangerous to do so. And for that, they tried to silence him. But let me tell you this, a man like Renison Jeffrey does not die. His spirit lives on in every worker who refuses to be exploited, in every citizen who demands accountability, in every heart that beats for justice. They want us to live on our knees, scared, obedient, weak. They want us to accept their lies, their greed, their betrayal. But I say no. I choose my own way. And I call on you to do the same. Rise up with me. Let your voices be heard. Let your fists shake the very foundations of injustice. They cannot silence all of us. They cannot break all of us. Because we are stronger than their threats, stronger than their corruption, stronger than their lies. Renison Jeffrey's fight is not over, it has just begun. And I will walk this path with or without you, but I promise you this, those who stand with me will never walk alone. So make your choice. Stand up and fight. Because history does not remember the cowards, it remembers the warriors. Lone Wolf speech on Renison Jeffrey, stand and fight. Brothers and sisters, today I stand before you not as a leader of the pack, but as a lone wolf, one who refuses to bow, refuses to submit, and refuses to accept the chains of silence. Renison Jeffrey was not just a man. He was a symbol of struggle, a warrior for justice, a voice that refused to be drowned out by the roaring tides of corruption and oppression. He stood tall against those who sought to break the backs of the working class. He spoke the truth when it was dangerous to do so. And for that, they tried to silence him. But let me tell you this, a man like Renison Jeffrey does not die. His spirit lives on in every worker who refuses to be exploited, in every citizen who demands accountability, in every heart that beats for justice. They want us to live on our knees, scared, obedient, weak. They want us to accept their lies, their greed, their betrayal. But I say no. I choose my own way. And I call on you to do the same. Rise up with me. Let your voices be heard. Let your fists shake the very foundations of injustice. They cannot silence all of us. They cannot break all of us. Because we are stronger than their threats, stronger than their corruption, stronger than their lies. Renison Jeffrey's fight is not over, it has just begun. And I will walk this path with or without you, but I promise you this, those who stand with me will never walk alone. So make your choice. Stand up and fight. Because history does not remember the cowards, it remembers the warriors.